You're listening to Bizarre Buffet, a podcast of all-you-can-eat weird. I'm your host, Mark Torriello.
I'm Jen Wilson.
And I'm Mark Bluestein.
There'll be food and drink and ghosts, and perhaps even a few murders. You're all invited.
When we first went in, one of the people said, "Who are you?" And Tex said, "I'm the devil, and I'm here to do the devil's business."
Hi, everybody. It's me, the cat who made it to the Vincent Price film.
And me, the cat who was the stunt double.
And we are just really Hollywood icons.
We are.
I'm just me. I'm Mark.
Hi.
From Bizarre Buffet.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
Mark, that was such a great episode.
It was.
Thank you.
I know.
I can't get over it. It was
I know.
so good.
It was so good. A cat audition.
And
How
I'm
fantastic.
not even a cat person. I don't even like cats.
It depends on the cat.
Yes, that is a very
Yeah.
good point. Depends on the cat.
Cats have very distinct personalities.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Like there's
And
one.
they're very specific.
They are. Like there's one cat that lives here in this development. That cat is a fucking nightmare cat. And the owner will let him out like on nice days, which is nice in theory. It's fine.
Yeah.
But the cat fucking lunges at me every time. And
Yeah.
I have anxiety and the cat gives me fucking anxiety.
The cats attacked me and our dog.
Yeah. And he always lunges.
damn it.
And that's not my kind of cat. I would not cast it in anything.
But to anyone
Insult.
listening or watching, our last episode that we recorded was about a bunch of black cats that auditioned for a role.
Yeah, and none of them got the role.
None of the cats got the
Sadly.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, in case you haven't heard. Oh, yeah, that is a spoiler alert. Yeah.
Trigger warning.
Trigger warning. None of the cats got the
Yeah.
job, so sorry. Jen, enough with this kitty cat meow talk. Where are you bringing us?
Yeah.
Well,
More importantly.
before I bring you to wherever I'm bringing you tonight, my question, I guess, would be, have either of you ever been part of a fan-based community?
A fan-based community, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say so. For me, I used to be on David Bowie forums or stuff
Okay.
like that, or different music related
And
things.
how was that experience?
I mean, I think it was fun, from what I recall, because it was just people being look at this thing if you haven't seen it before, or look at this thing, or, so it was an interactive,
Did you ever make friends from it?
No. No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah. What about you, Mark?
Yeah.
I mean, that's all I did when I was a teenager. You mean online communities?
Anything, yeah.
Because I was part of a lot of these Live Journal, Dead Journal, subreddit communities. There was one called "Oh My God, What the Fuck," and it was basically a rotten.com on Live Journal.
It's like Reddit.
Yeah, it was Reddit. And then I also was part of a Golden Girls fan base.
Oh, that's
and
so cute.
People
That he still is.
Shut up. And everyone wrote Golden Girls fan fiction.
Oh my God.
And I wrote
fun.
one.
Do you still have it?
It exists somewhere in the digital universe.
We're going to find
We
out.
have to
But
find it.
The thing is that I had Rose become a bingo caller.
I love it.
I could see that.
That would be really good.
We should
Yeah,
all do
I'm
episodes where we
iconic.
create fan fiction for an episode.
Of the Golden Girls?
Or anything. But it can be Golden Girls themed.
I've never been part of a fan-based community, even though I am fans of things.
Yeah.
I've never really kind of went down that forum type of subreddit rabbit hole for anything. So before I tell you where I'm taking you tonight, the definition of fandom is the subculture of fans. And it's a term that's used to refer to a subculture composed of fans characterized by a feeling of sympathy and camaraderie with others who share common interests. So some examples would be Harry Potter, which I'm a fan of. I mean, but I've never gone that deep into it.
Yeah.
Or Star Wars, you have the Trekkies, Star Trekkies,
Yep.
Yeah.
and the Star Trek conventions. And even going to Comic-Con is being part of a fandom.
Yeah. That makes sense. We go to horror cons.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
guess that would apply.
So tonight, I'm taking us into the lifestyle of a furry.
Yeah!
Yes.
So this is thanks to my acting students who love to incorporate furries into their improv scenes. I just had to go do a deep dive to see what this like hype about furries was about.
I love this.
I do have to be honest with you. Whenever I hear the word furry, like I always associate it with some sexual kink.
Yeah.
Same.
And there definitely is a stigma.
Okay.
They are fans, not fetishes, and I am here to break the stigma.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Oh my God, how exciting. I always thought it was exactly what you just said, like fetishy.
Yeah, I thought it was sex. Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
So, what is a furry? You might be asking yourself.
I certainly am right now.
So, a furry is first and foremost a label of self-identification with the furry fandom at large.
Okay.
As a fandom, they prefer to be referred to as furries by non-furries too.
Okay.
So us non-furries are expected to refer to furries as furries.
Okay. Very interesting. So, do you think the furries will let you know, like, kind of like a pronoun?
Probably.
Like, I would prefer to be referred to as a furry.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Wow.
Or I'm sure they would, make it known that they identify as a furry,
Yeah, I would think so.
right?
Yeah, for sure.
So furries are focused on creativity, culture, and a collective community that's centered around their love for anthropomorphic characters. Okay. So some examples of that would be like Mickey Mouse, Winnie the Pooh, any fictionalized animals.
Okay.
Gizmo from Gremlins.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, wow.
Much of this culture solely exists in the collective imagination of the fandom. As individual furries, they also enjoy creating their own original characters.
Oh.
Yeah. So they might be based on a wide variety of creatures. It could include real animals, animal hybrids, a completely new species. Some of these characters are called fursonas.
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 I've
Oh
never
my
heard of
God.
that before.
I trademarked.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
Like the hybrids. Like I used to go to Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Okay.
And that crowd would attract all types, right? And there would be like people that would have like hot pink cat ears, but then they would have a cheetah tail and
Yeah.
they'd be like a hybrid.
Wow.
Yeah.
But I love that they call it a fursona.
Oh my,
Yeah.
that is an amazing word. I'm obsessed.
Fursona.
Fursona. That's so cool.
Yeah, and the fursona is actually meant to represent who that individual would be if they were an animal,
Cool.
Wow.
but in person form.
That's so cool.
Another thing that I'd like to note is that not all furries dress in full animal outfits.
Oh.
Okay.
There is a common misconception that the furry fandom is about every animal like dressing up like an animal in full-on suit.
Okay.
Some do, but definitely not everybody. There is something called a fursuit. It's carefully created, it's custom made, it's a custom made costume that represents either their fursona or another character they've created.
Okay.
And these can range from as little as just a head and a tail to a full-blown like mascot-esque costume.
Wow. Fascinating.
Sounds very expensive.
Yes.
Yeah.
So think about this kind of being along the lines of going to Comic-Con and doing cosplay.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Totally.
And believe it or not, we as people, we have a lot more in common with furries than we think we do.
I can't wait to know.
And listen, they are just like any other fan-based group, and they want people to know that as well.
Okay.
There is an article that I read from Women's Health, and it states, participating in the furry community is no different than supporting your favorite sports team by painting your face and wearing their jersey, engaging in cosplay, or wearing a Slytherin scarf because you love the Harry Potter films.
Oh.
Good point.
That's a
Facts.
really great analogy.
Right?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I can put it into perspective that way too.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, that reminds me of something RuPaul said. He said something along those lines, like people get all bent out of shape over, men dressing up in drag or just people dressing up in drag. And he was like, okay, but you're wearing a, basketball jersey for the Chicago Bulls. You're not a Chicago Bull.
Yes. Yes. 1,000,000%.
Yes, RuPaul.
Yeah. It
You
makes
oil fracker.
Shantae, you frack.
Fronte, you frack.
Well, I always said to Mark, if I was a drag queen, my drag name would be Gizmo Glitter Paws.
Yes,
love it.
I love it.
So this is so on topic.
Well, now I'm going to do a segment where I'm going to zoom in for YouTube and I'm going to say, bring back my frackers. You know?
Bring back my fur.
Bring back my frackers. You know it makes sense.
It does.
Thank you.
One of the things that furries want everybody to know is that they are not a dysfunctional or socially awkward group of people.
Okay.
A lot of times in film, in television, furries are depicted as socially awkward people.
Okay.
In reality, they are just people expressing a passion for a hobby, and they interact with other people with the same interests as them.
Oh, I love that.
So for many, joining this group, this fandom, is to fulfill a sense of belonging. The way they engage in this is they make themselves a human version of an animal, either through art, through fashion. Some may just watch their favorite TV show, and that's their way of like being part of that world.
Okay.
They also want you to know that they are not sexual. So believe it or not, only 15 to 25% of furries actually own a fur suit.
Wow.
They're expensive.
Well, they're expensive, but I'd imagine that there is a subsection of people who don't feel the necessity for a fursuit.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
You were talking about fan fiction. Like, there obviously is erotic fan fiction out there. Take, for example, you sexualize like Harry Potter or the Star Wars characters. And when it comes to furries having sex with each other, it's actually pointed out that most people date and have sex with people with whom they share a common interest with. And furries are no different.
Yeah, it makes sense. Wow.
Right?
I'm really learning a
I just
lot
wanted
that
to
I'm genuinely interested in. I think this is really cool.
And there's so many ways that we can get involved in the furry community if we wanted to.
Tell us.
So there's plenty of social media platforms and there's conventions that you can attend. So I'm sure like if you go on Reddit, if you can go look all over social media, Instagram, Facebook, Reddit. So there's a convention in Illinois called the Midwest Fur Fest.
That sounds awesome as hell.
There's about 11,000 furries who'll attend this convention, and they attend screenings, dance competitions, they shop for accessories and art at the vendors hall. They will attend informational sessions about costumes, about drawing and writing. It was also interesting that I found that 83.2% of who attend are white.
Okay.
66.6% identify as cisgendered males under 25 years old.
Under 25. Okay.
This is a study from, they're called Fur Science.
So I have to ask this because I am not as woke, but what exactly is cisgendered?
A person who identifies and corresponds with the same gender that they were born with, right?
Exactly. Yes. So it's like you're a cis male, Jen's a cis woman, I'm a cis male because you identify as he, I'm he, and she is she.
I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty much
Thank
it.
you. See, I learned something.
Yeah. It's okay. We're learning together.
We're all learning
Epizar
together.
Buffet.
We are. Most importantly, all of this for the majority of furries starts online. A quote that I found says, "If the fandom is something you were interested in being part of, the internet provides an easy and low stakes way to join." Furries find their tribes within the fandom by gaming with or messaging fans who are into the same characters they are, or they find ones who share a similar passion for fan art or films. from there, they'll exchange numbers, meetups start to happen, and a lot of them will plan to attend conventions together. Whether it's platonic or romantic, relationships within the fandom are why people love it.
Yeah.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah.
It's a community.
It is. Yeah.
It's a community. And we've all actually, believe it or not, have probably been in close contact with a furry, even though we might not know it.
Yeah, I'm sure, which is very cool.
You know?
I love it. I wish people were, comfortable speaking more openly about it.
You've probably sat next to them on public transportation or in a restaurant or exchanged in conversation with them.
Yeah.
So, like I said earlier, there is this stigma behind furries, and there's numerous television shows, films, and even parts of social media will portray furries as fetishes with an unnatural interest in playing dress up. But after hearing about this fandom, I hope that you'll most likely find the myths about them are misguided.
Yes.
Is there a kink to it in the community? Yeah, for sure.
Like anything else.
But sexual preferences are up to the individual, not
Yes.
the fandom as a whole.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So
Hell yeah.
this is a misconception that a lot of people have had. The furry community wants these people outside of the subculture to kind of just get
Chill.
rid of, chill.
Yeah.
the fuck out.
Yeah, I get it.
Because sadly, my last point is actually that furries are more likely to be bullied throughout their entire lives.
Oh.
There's studies that show that 62% of furries report being bullied from age 11 to 18, while 48.3% say they were bullied between the ages of 4 and 10.
Oh.
And in no way have these individuals brought bullying onto themselves because they've joined this fandom.
No.
It's just the excuse that the bullies are given. And
Yeah.
I just want you all to remember that furries are no different than us.
Absolutely.
And I hope that I came to break the stigma tonight
Yes,
about
I
it.
think you absolutely
away at
did. Absolutely. I think this is such an important thing because part of what we do is that, we're all about inclusivity, right?
Yes.
And about bizarre isn't a bad thing.
No.
It's extraordinary. It's different.
I think for our podcast and our brand, bizarre is really an empowering term because it
Yes.
means that you are extraordinary
Yeah.
and not boring. And I think furries are fantastic because they have an interest.
Yeah.
There's so many people out there that are so
Absolutely.
bland that
Yeah.
don't have any interest, and they're
Right.
like, I don't dress up for Halloween. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, well,
Why not?
I'll be honest with you. I always thought that it was a sexual thing.
Well, yes.
I thought there was a big sexual
I
component to
thought
it.
that
Yeah.
there was a huge sexual component to it.
Yeah.
When really it's not. And like I said, I would hear my students talk furry this, furry that. I'm a furry. He's a furry. She's a furry. We're all furries. And I'm like,
Yeah.
is this something I should be concerned about right now?
Yeah.
When I started to do more research, I realized these are people who are just really into animals and think
Yeah.
that animals are cool.
Yeah.
And fantasy.
Yeah, and
know?
fantasy.
I know
Absolutely.
it's interesting because I like we said earlier, I thought it was a big sexual fetish, and I didn't have any issues with that. I was like, good for you. If you
Yeah.
want to wear a tail and get it, get it.
Hell yeah. Why
know,
not? Enjoy your life. It's not hurting nobody.
I'll try anything once.
Yeah.
It's nice to know that there is actually more of a deeper culture
Yeah.
to
Yes.
it and community for
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely. And I think what's great about what you did, Jen, is that you heard this thing and instead of being oh God, this is you took it upon yourself to educate yourself to be
exactly.
okay, and that's what more people need to do because these things are just things that people do. There's no harm in it.
Well, when you're exposed to working with children in education a lot, you start to have to kind of keep up to date with the trends going on and
Yeah.
the TikTok references
Yes,
and
I'm sure.
yeah. Apparently
Absolutely.
there's an entire furry rabbit hole on TikTok of just people dressed in animal clothing just dancing around.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a few leopard print shirts.
Yeah, well there you go.
So do I.
So-
Yeah. We love an animal print,
We love
especially in Jersey.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Jersey, the leopard print capital of the world,
That's
baby.
us.
That's us. How you doing? Zebra, leopard,
Cheetah.
Cheetah's one.
Snake print.
Yeah, snake print.
Snow leopard.
Snow leopard, absolutely. Consult Carmela Soprano on that. Edie Falco, she'll tell you. That's all of her wardrobe for The Sopranos.
Yeah.
Yeah, she knows. Yeah, God bless her. Anyway, well, Jen, I love that. I think that was fantastic. And I think you really, like, episodes like these, I think are really important for us.
And what did
Yeah.
I say? Like before we record, I'm like, this is totally different for me.
Yes, yes. And
Yeah.
I think you did a fantastic job. And I love it because we are all about making people feel included.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is a great way for anyone who may be listening, who is a part of it or may be interested, to feel like, hey, people see me. And everybody wants to be seen, right?
Yeah, and also to the fur community, just so you know, I'm an ally because I was Gizmo from Gremlins
Yes.
for Halloween.
Yeah, I thought Mark was going to call me a bear, but
Mark
that too.
he's a bear.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
You can get into a fur convention.
oh yeah, I
or
think so.
A furry.
Well, like I said, we can always go check it out. People will go to the convention and just wear a T-shirt with their favorite animal on it. It doesn't have to necessarily be like
Like an outfit, like a
Yeah.
costume.
it's like going to Comic-Con
I think that's really cool.
or
I like it.
DragCon,
Yeah.
HarperCon.
RuPaulicon.
Exactly. BravoCon.
RuPaul Eclipse.
Exactly.
The Frack Eclipse.
Frackacon.
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 Yeah. I love it. Well, you know what? If you're a furry or if you're not, if you may be interested in it or something has intrigued you, you know what you can do?
You can come follow us on Facebook, Instagram at Bizarre Buffet.
Absolutely. BizarreBuffet.com.
Mm-hmm.
You can visit our Patreon at patreon.com/BizarreBuffet, where I would just recommend going on it, taking a look. There are a million great things that you will not see on our Instagram or you'll get from audio or YouTube. So check that out.
And
Yeah.
also, if you're listening, we do have a YouTube channel where you can
We
watch
do.
the episodes.
Hi.
Hi.
Hey, we're
Hi.
waving to
Waving.
you.
Hi.
And our YouTube channel is Bizarre Buffet, so subscribe.
Please.
It helps us a lot.
It does.
Absolutely.
And
And yeah,
that's basically it, everyone.
with that being said, I am fracking.
And I am RuPaul.
And I'm Gizmo from Gremlins.
What a beautiful trio.
Shantae, you stay.